All right, it looks like we are just about ready for the piece de resistance, and I completely butchered that, but you know, it's not as bad as how Tiger butchered this next game. You're gonna love it. Coming up next is Sonic Jam. Take it away, Finalflame.
Welcome, everyone, to something a little different. Never before have we had a Tiger Gamecom game featured on GDQ. This will be the debut, and I'm really looking forward to showing it off. I am Finalflame. You may have heard of me before, seen me. I am a runner of primarily classic Sonic games, including this one we're about to see. I am joined by a co-commentator in CrankThatSNES. Go ahead and say hi.
Yo, what up, everyone? I'm CrankThatSNES. I'm the other semi-regular Sonic Jam runner, and I'm excited to be a part of this historical first appearance of a Gamecom game.
This is going to be awesome. Before we get started, Amber, I know you know some things about this Gamecom. Can you please tell everyone about it?
I most certainly do. So if you purchase a Tiger Electronics Gamecom complete in packaging, it will say the following things on that packaging. It'll call it the Tiger Electronics Gamecom, the ultimate portable gaming system. Such features such as the awesome playing power, exceptional graphics, incredible speech, music, and sound, revolutionary touchscreen, and the built-in organizer and solitaire game. The Gamecom has an extensive library of exciting game carts available separately and features optional access to the Gamecom website, text-based internet, and email services, all of which have been discontinued. Isn't that pretty hype?
Yeah, it certainly has a lot. So now that we've got you all hyped up for it, let's go ahead and turn this thing on. Ah, yes, the true Gamecom experience. Here are all those options Amber just mentioned. We're going to start it up with our game cartridge, as it shows us how to put the cartridge in. And thus begins the amazing soundtrack. So we are doing all games. So in this, we have 3 games. We have Sonic 3, Sonic 2, and Sonic & Knuckles. There's going to be 4 acts per game, and they are going to be themed around the original Genesis games, the first act of their respective games. We are going to start with Sonic 2. We have 3 character choices. We have Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Tails can fly. We're going to need that. So we are going to be doing all these as Tails. So let's go ahead and get this started in 3, 2, 1, go.
So we're going to start off with Sonic 2, which is probably the easiest and most straightforward of the runs. And if you do plan on running Sonic Jam, I would highly suggest starting with this. But Finalflame has some quick movement he needs to do right at the beginning of these speed shoes and invincibility. And if he does that correctly, and then if he is able to hit this major glitch of the game, loop clips, he can now hold right through the rest of the stage. And he would be able to...
Yeah, if I didn't just fall through.
Yeah, loop clips are pretty difficult. But basically, it's the only major glitch that lets you go right through them, as you saw. And we're going to be abusing them for all of Sonic 2.
That's all right. That just means I have to roll coming up here somewhere around here. We'll just roll there. Otherwise, I will get hit by that monkey, and we don't want that. And yeah, that was the first stage. It really is a lot of hold right to win in this stage. The goal of this game is really just preserving as much momentum as we can. So in this stage, we're actually going to fly to the top of the level. It's a little out of the way. However, there are speed shoes up here, and we want as many speed shoes as possible. In this case, because it's so early in the level, we get a lot of benefit from it. So at this point, I'm just going to hold right for most of this level, but later on, I'm going to actually have to let go of right for whatever reason. Frank, you can go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, the Gamecom momentum physics aren't exactly perfect, if you believe it or not. So if you're holding right for this stage, and if you keep holding right when you land from jumps, you lose speed for some reason. So Finalflame needs to let go of right momentarily to be able to preserve his speed. And also, if you're wondering about the frame rate, it is not your fault. This game is running at the proper frame rate of about 8 frames per second or something around there. It's being perfectly shown on screen.
That's pretty accurate. That was Act 2. So I got a tight trick here at the opening of Act 3. I'm going to jump at a specific point and try and hit that spring, but Tails decided he didn't want to fly. That's a frequent occurrence in this game. Inputs are only sometimes a thing you get. That is some intentional damage because I do want to do a spin dash. We do have a spin dash in here. It's not like a rev spin dash like you would get in the Genesis game. You can only get one tap. Another example of a loop jump / loop clip, whichever you prefer to call it. Spin dashing does have its uses, but overall, it's actually slower than just running. Depending on the terrain. Some terrain just doesn't allow to gain a lot of momentum when running.
Yeah, much of the
typically
routing,
when we do spin dashes.
Yeah, much of the routing is spent trying to maximize running as much as possible, and minimizing flights and spin dashes.
Alright, so Zone 4, we're just holding right. No surprise. I promise you the later games are not going to be quite as simple. While yes, you want to go right, it is the Sonic game. Oh, did not get a roll. That's okay. Sometimes it's easier than others. Alright, that just threw off my momentum, but I should be okay. So pay close attention here when Tails hits this little thing, whatever you want to call it. You just gain a huge burst of speed, which is really useful. So we went from a dead stop to maximum speed right away. And now comes one of the harder bosses in here. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, the final boss for Sonic 2 is quite wonky. You really want to be abusing the physics to try and stay inside the boss to get 5 hits if possible. It's very difficult, and it has some weird rhythmic timing to do. I mean, all the bosses have their own quirks, but Sonic 2 is probably the one I had the most trouble with. But with that, we're actually going to be finished with Sonic 2.
Yeah, that is the shortest of the games. Let's go to Sonic and Knuckles next. Whenever you enter a game after completing another one, you just jump at the start of the stage. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, they don't properly clear like your A press, so you just jump for whatever reason after you complete a game.
4, 5, 6, 7. I should miss those spikes. You don't want to land on that slope because then you have really bad momentum. It doesn't work out too well.
Yeah, unlike all other Sonic games, slopes is really cursed in this. You want to not be messing with slopes as much as possible in Sonic Jam for the Gamecom.
So I don't know how much we touched on it, but even though we can fly, we do want to use that as little as possible. In some stages like this one, the following one, it's not required, but to go fast, you really do need to. The flying itself is very slow. And now we can hold right the rest of the stage. I think this might be a good time for a quick donation, Amber.
Absolutely. I've got $25 from Akira Katayama saying, a Gamecom game in our GDQ? It's more likely than you think. And I just had to stay awake to see this historical moment. Destroy this game and let's get our real gamer on. And just a quick heads up, we are like less than $1 away from hit. Oh, no, we just hit Zadet. Real gamer %. Awesome. Thank you all so much for hitting that donation incentive.
That's great. So I got to jump here, fly up here. It's just a little faster to do that. I didn't want to land on that mushroom, but mushrooms are going to be our friend. And now I need some focus time. So Crank, what am I doing?
Yeah, so for Mushroom Hill Act 2 is probably the biggest example of Tails' flight, where you're trying to land on very specific platforms to basically skip the entire extremely slow bottom half of the stage. The only problem is it's completely blind. You have nothing in the background to try and guide you. So what Finalflame is doing is trying to keep a internal tempo based on the music to time his flights, which is really difficult. And I have no idea how he's able to keep a tempo using the Gamecom music, but he's able to. And after he's then able to hit all of these flights, we're actually done with that small little section.
And now hopefully I have a good landing. That's not a good landing. I do need to do a spin dash just because this enemy at the top of the hill is really annoying. And now we're back to holding right, because there's a decently long straightaway here. And then we'll be jumping into the boss. This boss is a little bit weird. There's many ways you can do it. I'm honestly not even sure what the fastest way is, but I have found what seems to work best for me. The main reason it is an issue is you will frequently get dropped inputs. That's a common theme in this game. So what I am going to do, I'm going to jump for my first hit, and then do some spin dashes. And try to jump at a very specific point. Sometimes these bombs will hurt you, sometimes they don't. I couldn't tell you when they do and when they don't.
Yeah, hitboxes in this game are usually a suggestion more than anything else.
So this stage can be a little bit of a pain. Not much going on at the start, so let's get another quick donation.
Absolutely. There is $100 from Fizzu saying $20 for falling off the barrels and $80 more because we need Zadet Real Gamer percent. It's so good. Thank you so much for letting me show Bart House. Thank you for all the support from chat, and thank you all for the good that you do. Thank you for that awesome run earlier. And just want to mention Discworld is our next incentive we want to push, so give the dog a bone for $10,000. We're at just over $3,500, and we are running out of time to meet that too, so definitely get your donations in for Discworld. We got to make sure we feed the dog.
So let's talk about one of the challenges of this game. All the stages start to look the same after a while, and you forget which stage you're on, and you do the wrong input and miss the mushroom, unfortunately. So that's kind of what happened. That's why I hit the spikes. One thing I do like about Sonic and Knuckles, and I couldn't quite show it off there, but you will see it more in the next stage, is these mushrooms. A lot of them are placed very well, and you can actually utilize them to switch paths very quickly, faster than you could normally. You'll see what I mean at the end of the next stage.
Yeah, probably the best thing about the game, you get some style in when you jump off the mushrooms, and they're always perfectly aligned, so you get like 4 of them in a row. I mean, it's usually pretty slow, but it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. All right, that was Act 3. All right, remember the spin dash. So we now have the slowest part of this game coming up. I have tried so hard to route this out. It just does not work for me. But it does allow us to do a frame-perfect trick coming up at a whole of about 3 FPS or so. So let me try to nail that here. Good. Jumped at the last pixel possible. I just hit an invincibility box you couldn't see. And I'm going to focus for the rest of this.
Yeah, there's some pretty precise timings to try and hit all the boxes for this stage. And if he's able to maintain his speed, which is very difficult for Act 4, there's a spike jump coming up here, which looks pretty darn cool. Oh, nice. Not too shabby. You get to see those cool mushrooms.
Jumped a little early. All right, so I'm going to take some intentional damage here. Tails, God, for whatever reason, my controls sometimes get inverted on top of this boss. I could not tell you why, and it caused me to not get in position like I wanted. That's okay. All right, I'm going to take it safe here and bail real quick, and hopefully be okay. So not the perfect boss, but I did get a couple quick hits in. That was probably the latest trick discovered in this game. I accidentally discovered that a couple days ago. And with that, that was Sonic and Knuckles. On to the last one, Sonic 3, and I was expecting to get a jump there and didn't. Go figure. So this is, well, I'd say Sonic 3 is the most complex out of all the 3 games. Mostly because there's a lot of obstacles in your way that are stopping you from going fast. So I have to manage them as best as I can. You see a lot of jumps, there are a lot of rocks in my way. And we're coming up to an interesting section. I will let Crank tell you all about that.
Yeah, so for years in the Sonic Jam community, the reason why we use Tails is because of the hollowed out log section coming up. We did not know how to actually go up it, because in Sonic 3 normally you could just hold right and go out the hollowed log section like in the Genesis games. Not in Sonic Jam. If you just hold right, you fall off the section, and we could not figure out how to do it. But quite recently, like I think last Saturday, NPC figured out how to do it, and to do it, you just let go of input, and it's faster than flying up the stage, which means that it's now possible to beat the games at Sonic or Knuckles, meaning that Tails is unfortunately obsolete. I mean, he's still faster, obviously, he can fly. But yeah, now we know how to beat that every stage in the game as every character.
Yes, shout outs to NPC, who will actually be running one of the runners in Zadet after this. Just, they were determined to figure it out, and they did, and we appreciate it, because coming out of there, because now we don't fly up of it, you come out of there with almost all of your momentum, which is why it's also faster to go up the log that way as Tails. So not much to talk about right now, so I'm thinking let's go ahead and send it over to Amber for some more donations.
Thank you, Flame. We've got $50 from Sven, who says, congrats on hitting $1 million already. Next stop is $2 million. Well, right now, I'd like to see if we can get to 1.1 million before the end of the awful block. So that's the end of the Zadette race. Can we do that? I think we can. We're just a little under $8,000 away from that. Let's hit that. And then next stop is clearly 2 million.
So real quick, don't blink. You are seeing this correctly right here. This is a loop. Half of it is graphically missing, but it still works. We don't know why.
We don't know why sounds like a lot of the game.
On that note, carry on, Amber.
Absolutely. $250 from Vachium saying, I always look forward to the awful block and the uniquely charming games that I've usually never heard of. Thank you and good luck to all the runners. Time for one more?
Sure.
Sure, one more quick one. $15 from Kona Rican saying, fun fact, the Gamecom commercial hyped more games than you have brain cells.
I believe the library is, 20 games, maybe 21? But speaking of the Gamecom library and the Gamecom in general, that is one of the prizes available for this block.
It most certainly
so
is.
I strongly recommend donating for that. I'm sure you can talk more about that later on.
Absolutely.
So this stage, we are just trying to stay on the top route as much as possible because other routes, from what I have seen, have been very slow. That's not where I thought I was going to land. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, we don't really have long straightaways in this game that we can use to our advantage and just run across. We have to do a lot of flight, or if we were to stay on the bottom, we would have to climb up the level at various points, which we don't want to do.
Yeah, Angel Island definitely demonstrates the monotony of some of this level design, and trying to remember where exactly you are is very difficult for Sonic 3. The Finalflame is doing a pretty great job of
as I almost fall down a pit that's probably a death pit. Alright, so we are coming up on the end of Act 3, and we only have, one more stage after this. So we are blowing through it pretty quickly. This boss coming up is the Flying Battery. Fortunately, at least this Tails, it's a very simple boss, as we will demonstrate while Amber keeps talking with more donations.
I'd be happy to. Let's see here. We have $25 from Edward saying, just need 9.3k to reach the Castlevania's bonus run and 145k to get to the Resident Evil 8 bonus game. If everyone donates $5, we can get these 2 bonus runs unlocked. So I'll split this donation to these 2 games, and I'll get some more donated after bed. Such a shame that sleep is the major reason to miss this great event. Well, self-care is important too. There are always the VODs, but we appreciate the donation.
And that boss is done. It's possible if you get your jumps eaten, you will die to that. That has unfortunately happened to me before, so it's never a guarantee. And we have one final stage to carry us home. Not much to talk about the start of this one. Honestly, this stage is mostly hold right with a couple jumps, so you got about another minute, Amber.
All right, I'd be happy to. We've got $25 from Dompe saying came for the speed runs, staying for the cheese puns. And $50 from Shendel who says, greetings from Australia. Awful Block is wonderful. Mega Mem 2 was the highlight of my night. I don't know about you, but this is the highlight of my night, y'all.
It's been a good Awful Block. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
Such a good Awful Block, for sure.
I still can't believe I'm running in the Awful Block. Ooh, got that roll at the last second. All right, so coming up on the boss here, if you've played Sonic 3, you will recognize it. It is, in fact, the last boss of Angel Island. So currently it's unhittable. It's behind the water. Now it's in front of the water, but still unhittable. Don't ask why. I couldn't tell you. Now it's back behind the water, and I'm going to jump at a specific time and try to get all 6 hits in before it goes back behind the water. It is a very tight window, and I have to manage my bounce back and not get hit by that. Okay, so this might be a 2 cycle.
Yeah, this final boss is very quick.
5. Got it.
Nice.
Okay. So the last thing we have to do before time coming up is hit this capsule. I have to wait till it gets lower because it just doesn't have a hitbox. We have freed the animals, and with that, it is time. And that was Sonic Jam for the Gamecom. Yeah, not a bad time at all. I show a 16:27.
Huge GGs.
Yeah, overall, not too bad. In case anyone's curious, world record for this run is what again? I just said it earlier. 1544. I got in a practice run
a
like
couple
2 hours ago. But this game's been fun. I hope someone out there, for whatever crazy reason, wants to run this at some point. I did try and make a video guide for it, and then it was obsoleted within a couple hours, I think. That's how quick we've been finding stuff, so I will have a guide up at some point. I just need to wait till it'll last more than a day. But some shout-outs. Just shout-outs to everyone that was involved in this from, I mentioned during my interview, Retrothon 2020, that got me considering this. To the people in the Sonic community that helped me find out where to start to try and play this. Crank, you found a lot of strats recently. Greatly appreciate that. We've cut so many minutes off the records lately. It's been awesome to see. Yeah, I would list specific names, so I know I'd forget people, and I don't want to do that. So just thank you, everyone. Crank, do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly shout NPC again for discovering Angel Island Act 1. Like, that's a 3-year mystery solved for me. And also a quick shout out to FTCR, the video game group, for introducing me to this game.
Yeah, so a lot of fun. Thank you, GDQ, for accepting this. And that's all I got, so I'll hand it back over to Amber.
Thank you so much for that incredible and hilarious run. At least I thought it was hilarious, of Sonic Jam Finalflame. And thank you for letting me do that intro. But we will be right back with more Awful Block, with the Zadette race, with the real gamer percent that you all worked really hard to unlock right after these messages. So we'll be right back. Stick around. There's going to be more runs to come. All right, everyone, welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2022 online. How did y'all like the Awful Block so far? We've got one more run. We've got the Zadette run coming up. But first, let's take a look at the incentive for Discworld Give the Dog a Bone. We're at $3,700, just over $3,700 for the $10,000 required, and that closes after, I believe it closes either at the end of the run or at the start of that run, so you have very little time to meet that. And speaking of which, let's go to some donations. We have Edward, who donates $5 to say, I can give the doggo a $5 bone donation, and you should too, honestly. Thank you so much, Edward. $21 comes from Frost Marble saying, please ask Finalflame how in the world you capture video for the Gamecom. Donated thrice the FPS. Show some love to the Gamecom. It's doing its best. 7 frames per second. Yeah, that sounds about right. Anonymous, who donates $10 saying, what perfect timing to wake up for Awful Block. This will be a fun day for sure. And I couldn't agree more. Awful Block first thing in the morning is definitely the right way to start your day. Sarah donates $100 with no comment, but thank you very much. And Grayout donates $50 saying, the music these runs has been great tonight. Or maybe that's the hearing loss. Whichever it is, keep up the awesome work you all are doing. $10 from Gadrak saying, greetings from the donation station. GDQ has been a blast this time around. Everyone from the runners to tech to the audience has made it a real treat. Thanks to progress in research, my dad has been cancer-free for over 5 years now, less than 3. And $50 comes from PSEG saying, hi GDQ, the Awful Block this year has been wonderful. Also, hi chat, Zadette is a tough game. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's also very tough. The real gamer% addition to Zadette, however, it's many, many times tougher than the entirety of the rest of the game. You will enjoy watching the racers struggle against it. Please help fight cancer, unlock that incentive, which we did, and let's have a real gamer% race. And I do know for a fact that those racers are very, very excited to be real gamers today. I know I'm excited. In fact, I remember when I was told, hey, you're going to be hosting the Zadette race. I was like, all right. And I looked at the submission descriptions, and all of the racers are like touting the giant sprites and the barbarians in the run. And I took one look at the run, and they're not kidding. So I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you all are too. In the meantime, we'll get a couple more donations in. $30 comes from a beaver in a bee suit saying, gotta donate during the Awful Block, a bright spot in an already awesome week of speedruns. Like, seriously, how many awesome runs have there been so far? And the week's not even done yet. We have an anonymous $1,000 donation. Thank you very much. It's very generous. And they say, love to see GDQ going strong. Many thanks to all the runners and event organizers. Keep it up. And we appreciate that. That is extremely generous. And also, all the people behind the scenes have been working extremely hard to bring this marathon to you every single year. And I just want to shout them out as well. The folks behind the scenes are fabulous. $250 coming from Dr. Longshanks and Swear Potato saying, my wife and I took time off to work to catch as much of GDQ as we could and are excited to watch the rest of the marathon. Let's go, gamers. And go we shall. $500 coming from Squeal Assassin saying, had to donate during the Awful Block, which is definitely the best time to donate in my opinion. Mothman donates $100 saying, I roped my lovely wife into the Awful Block. This is her favorite set of runs. Shh, don't tell her I know. I would be awfully embarrassed if she heard this donation. $50 coming from Jan P saying, bonus game? Bonus game. And Rosie donates $5 to say, $5 donation train for a Resident Evil run? Sounds good. Choo-choo. In fact, to get all of those $5 donations in, coming in for whether it's the Resident Evil bonus game or the Castlevania Circle of the Moon bonus Magician any % run, or the Discworld Give the Dog a Bone incentive. Just to check on each of those, Discworld is at $3,700 or just over for the $10,000 incentive required for that. Circle of the Moon bonus Magician any % run is at just over $6,000 for the $15,000 needed for it. And then Resident Evil Village bonus game 5 is at just over $26,000 for the $170,000 that we need to unlock that. And it looks like we just opened. We did not just open anything. I apologize. That was a blip on my system. Oh, here's another good donation. $20 coming in from Silent Luvia saying, one of the few good things that come out of being in a time zone in which many of the amazing games are ran in the middle of the night for me is that I can always catch the awful block in all its glory. So much fun to be had with those quirky games. Good luck to all the runners. Smile. And thank you for that donation. $25 coming in from Henny022 saying, I needed to donate to try to get my hands on such amazing hardware as a GameCom. And that is true. If you donate $25 now through the end of Discworld, you too are entered for a chance at a GameCom with a Sonic Jam cartridge. And there's also plenty of other wonderful prizes that are open right now that even the $25 donation would put you in for. So if you go to our website, you can definitely take a look at that. So go to gamesdonequick.com and you'll be able to see the prizes and check out and play.